Well, good morning, and thanks for joining me today at Juanette's Crafting Corner for Quick Tip Thursday, episode number 5. So, my quick tip for today is this. I recently bought this old book. I thought it was going to be more of a medical book, and it does have some medical uh, parts in it. It is Dr. Chase's recipes from 1866, and it does say up in one area, like, see that? Let's see, merchants and groceries department, saloon department. There's the medical department, so it might have some medical things there. It does go on over to more medical. Then leather working department, tenors department. So there's a bunch of different chapters, and it's a lovely rag paper. Love that because you can. It's so sturdy. That's one page. But what my tip is, used to when I would dismantle a book and take it apart, these pages right here that are blank, I'm sorry to say, I would toss them. Yes, you heard me right. I would just toss them out. Oh, this was before I learned that these are the perfect papers for backing tags and journaling cards with, so that they already have that aged look. Now, these brown spots and kind of reddish spots, that is called foxing. I have learned that. It is basically an age related process of the deterioration that causes spots and browning on old paper and documents. And this here is worm damage. You know how the phrase a bookworm? Well, that's what that's from. So let me show you just real quick what I do with these. Beautiful paper. Now, you guys know I'm working on a new journal, a Renaissance journal, and here's some of the pages that I have printed off. And they are just, I printed them and kept them on the white paper. And I mean, look at that. Isn't that just absolutely beautiful? So another tip I do is when I cut them out, I don't cut them all the way to the end, because I know I'm going to glue this onto another piece of paper, and I want to make sure that the glue is all the way to the end, whether, especially if you're using a glue stick. So I take my glue stick and I put it over the entire area of that page. And I do put a liberal amount. I have learned that with glue sticks. You have to make sure you do quite a bit. Then the other thing is, if you then pick your glue stick up while it's still on the paper, it actually picks up your paper for you. So that is helpful. Then you just lay it and you kind of decide which area you want it on. I actually like that darker area. So I just lay it on top and then press it down. And then I realized that this size here is perfect. So see how I've got so much there? I can trim that down just a tiny bit so it fits better on the page. And I'm going to pull this out. I kind of like that raggedy edge. So I'll show you what I do to cover that part up because it's going to be white on the back side. So let's do this one now. I'm trying to get ahead on my videos because my trip to Australia is coming up. I want to make sure I've got some videos for you guys while I'm gone. You're going to hear the trash trucks right now because they're coming into the neighborhood. So I am going to bring this down here so it gets a little bit of that bookworm. That will make that look authentic. And you see it's white there. We're going to fix that. So I'm going to let these dry for just a minute and then we will cut them out while the trash goes by. So now I'm going to trim this off, and the way this kit is it already kind of has raggedy edges, so you don't have to be very careful in trimming it, which is really nice. So yesterday was Super Bowl Sunday, and it's about the only time I'll watch a football game. I used to love football when I was in junior high and high school. And the reason is, do you guys remember Joe Namath? He was a quarterback for the New York Jets. And the year they won the Super Bowl is when I got interested in football. And I used to watch it all the time. I even subscribed to Sports Illustrated magazine. And I had a poster of Joe Namath up on my wall in my bedroom. He also did a couple of movies, not very many. He wasn't very successful with his movie career, but he was the reason I got interested in football back then and learned the rules of football. Okay, so now I've trimmed that out. Let's work on this. I'm going to show you. Oh, look at that. Now, isn't that just fantastic? And if we add just a tiny bit more vintage photo around the edge there, just to kind of bring in that old look on that edge. On this side, and this will make for a really nice little journaling card. Isn't that fantastic? Now that looks like it's from a real old book, but let's work on this piece, what we're going to do with that. And there's a couple of things we could do. One, we could just use a little bit of that old vintage photo ink. But the other thing we could do is just tear off a piece of this paper and lay that down in that corner. And what I'm going to do for that is just glue it down. And actually some of this may be cut off, but until it's cut off, I'm going to leave it like that. So that helps that little bit. Then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my faux Scotch tape, which they wouldn't have had Scotch tape back in the Renaissance time, but let's say this is an old book for that time period. And I'm just going to lay that over it, and that will look like a repair on this book. I can get it off. It's printed on adhesive sheets. I can feel the edge right there. Come on, come on. Oh, there we go. and it's a little bit longer than what I need, but there. Now let's cut it out and see what we come up with. See how much of that did we really need. Probably none of it, but that's all right. I don't know about you guys, but I would say definitely 6 days out of the week, I'm here in my craft room doing some kind of craft, if not 7 days. And my sister Sherry and I have a running joke. We call each other a couple of times a week. She lives in Washington State. And instead of saying on the phone, "What are you doing?" because we are always doing the same thing, both of us, we're crafting. She's usually sewing. She cross stitches mostly, but she also makes journals, does paper crafts too. But instead of saying, "What are you doing?" because we know what we're doing, we say, "Which project are you working on now?" Oh, I tell you, this has been a lifesaver, this craft hobby. It's just, I just enjoy it so much, and I just have not gotten tired of it. Okay, yeah. All righty. And then for those corners, I am going to use my corner rounders so that they're even on both sides. And it's not very big, so I probably can use the middle one. Let's see. Yeah, well, I can maybe do the bigger one. Yeah, I think the bigger one. That way it gets all of it. Okay, let's see what was left. Okay, a little bit was left. And again, let's bring in our vintage photo and rough it up a little bit. Darken the edges a tiny, tiny bit. And then these are not completely done yet. I will embellish them some more. But anyway, that was my quick tip for this Thursday. Don't throw away these fantastic pages from old books. They can be used. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you guys next Thursday. Thanks, and bye-bye.